I never liked my name, Phyllis. Kids always teased me. In kindergarten, I couldn't conceive that these children could not make correct pronunciation of my name. Phyllis. That's how they said it. And then the cartoon came out. Felix the cat, the wonderful, wonderful cat. My mother was Irish and Cherokee Indian. She told me that in Irish, Phyllis means a pretty flower. But that didn't do me no good. I just didn't like the name, period. You know what I did? In Catholicism, when you get confirmed, you're allowed to take a confirmation name from a saint. I took Cecilia, so I told everyone that was my name. When I was out on the streets, I shortened it to Cece. People who knew me as Cece didn't know who Phyllis was. I was born and raised here on the east side of Los Angeles, raised in a place called Bobtown. That was the name everybody called it. It was the projects. My mother always talked about principles, morals, values, get a good education, get a job. She preached, but she never whipped us. She couldn't afford to send me to Catholic school with my brothers and sisters until 3rd grade. There were 7 of us. She was a single parent struggling with tuition, and that was a burden on her because she was on welfare. When she was able to afford it, I went to Catholic school, 3rd grade to 7th. Then the incident happened, and I got thrown out. But it wasn't my fault. I went to St. Columkill Elementary. I loved Catholic school. I loved English. I loved reading. I loved spelling. I could outspell the average child. I had excellent penmanship. I was always an A student. Never hardly ever got no B's and never got no C's. Even when I got in trouble and had to leave. Linda George was my friend. My last name was Washington. We always hung out together. We would sit in the back of the class and talk. But there are things that you do not get away with in Catholic school. We were brought up by nuns. They don't play. I don't like to talk about it, but okay. I'll tell you the reason why I got kicked out of Catholic school. They had a policy: if you goof off in class, you had to return on Saturday. Linda and I, George Washington, were the only knuckleheads who had to be there that Saturday. We went to the principal's office and the blinds were open. Sister Marilyn Jean, she was the principal. She handed us a stack of books this high. We had to do one assignment out of every book before we were excused. I finished my assignment first, and I went to the office to return my books. When I got there, I noticed the blinds were closed, but I just opened the door. Sister Mary Jean was sitting on top of Father Smith. Her collar was off. I didn't know nothing about intimacy, but I did know about necking. I just gave her the books and I didn't tell nobody nothing except Linda and my mother when I got home. She looked at me as if I was lying. She almost slapped me down because she believed in Catholicism wholeheartedly. On Monday, Sister Marilyn Jean talked to my mother. The 7th graders got to play volleyball at lunch. But before we could play, we always had to pass out milk to the 1st graders. Sister Marilyn Jean told my mother that when I was passing out milk, I was using profanity, as if I was saying, "Here, you MF, here, B word." I wasn't doing that. But that was just a cover-up for what I saw. She said she couldn't have me at the school. So my mother had no recourse but to send me to public school. I still practice Catholicism. I still pray every day. Soon as I wake up, I'm on my knees saying Our Father, the Hail Mary, the Act of Contrition, the Angel of God. Angel God, my guardian dearest, to whom God's love commits me here. Ever this day be at my side to light and guard, to roll and guide. I'm a prayer warrior like nobody's business, like there's no tomorrow. But you know what I think? I think if I had been able to stay in Catholic school, my life would have been different. If the incident hadn't happened, I wouldn't have been exposed to pills and drinking and gangs and a lot of really, really dangerous. I really don't like to say this, but if I'm going to tell this story, I must be truthful at all times. I sold barbiturates at the age of 12. At 16, I met my son's father, and he introduced me to heroin. I was 23 when I started prostituting just to make ends meet for my heroin addiction. I used crack for 2 years. I've been incarcerated. I've been in recovery for 20 years now. Once I got clean, I came into acceptance of my birth name. My name is not Cece. It's Phyllis.